So it's the Christmas season, which is when we celebrate, as this gospel that we've been going through in our 5-minute devotionals, as John says, the Word became flesh and dwelled among us. So the one through whom the universe was made was born and lived a life just like the rest of us in a lot of ways. And that's what we celebrate at Christmas here. So we'll see in today's 5-minute devotional how sometimes that miracle, by its very nature, can cause some stumbling and confusion. So we're in John chapter 7, verses 1 through 9. Here we go. After this, Jesus went about in Galilee. He would not go about in Judea because the Jews were seeking to kill him. Now the Feast of Booths was at hand, so his brothers said to him, "Leave here and go to Judea, that your disciples also may see the works you are doing. For no one works in secret if he seeks to be known openly. If you do these things, show yourself to the world," for not even his brothers believed in him. Jesus said to them, "My time has not yet come, but your time is always here. The world cannot hate you, but it hates me because I testify about it that its works are evil. You go up to the feast. I am not going up to the feast, for my time has not yet fully come." After saying this, he remained in Galilee. So if you've been following along, Jesus has been getting in trouble with religious authorities for doing things like healing people on the Sabbath and saying really hard stuff about having to feed on him and his body and blood and stuff that was not popular among the religious authorities. And so really he could face death if he went to the capital of where they were at in Jerusalem. So he's like, "Nah, guys, I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to go up to the feast this year." And the feast that they're talking about is the Feast of Booths, which is not that he was also friends with a family of people named Booth, but that it's celebrated when their ancestors were wandering in the desert and God guided them. And so people would actually, and sometimes do actually still, make little places, construct little things in their yard that they would go and live or do part of their daily life outside in that to remember how God guided them when they were wandering around and didn't have permanent homes. So that's the feast that they were all going up to, but his brothers are trying to instigate him to go, saying, "Hey, you claim to be a big deal. Why don't you just go? Just go where all the people are and do some of your fancy stuff and be the Messiah like everything." And they were just kind of instigating and taunting him because they didn't believe in him. And these were his brothers. These are the guys that he was around for probably 30 years. And they didn't believe in him. And now why would that be? Well, I wonder if part of it is familiarity. So when Jesus came, and we saw this already in John, he does some amazing things. He raises people from the dead, and he cures people of diseases and heals people of different stuff. But that's not the only reason why Jesus came, and that's not even the main reason. And he did come to save us from our sins and all the stuff that happens at the end of the gospel with his death and resurrection, but also he just comes to be familiar with us and to have life with us and to show us that love of being around. And I think it's that familiarity that tripped up his brothers, because they're like, "He's the same guy. We've known him his whole life. How can he be something special?" They missed that the miracle itself was the familiarity, that God wanted to be familiar with them, that he wants to be familiar with you and me and be as close as a family member or a friend. And this is a thing that might even apply in many of your own lives. You've grown up Christian. You've grown up in a Christian home, possibly. And this stuff is all very familiar. And so this Christmas, I want to challenge you to not lose track of the miracle of God being with us, simply because it's familiar. Because God being familiar with us is one of his miracles and this amazing gift that he, the one who created and was in the beginning creating everything, really wants to be as close as a friend or family with you.